welcome back to Tiger News. We have an awesome show planned for you guys today.
That's right. We have Rogue Robotics down here, some more NFL predictions from Wayne and Andy, and some other intriguing content. Let's get started.
A sheep in Michigan wandered off onto a frozen lake and its front legs fell through the ice. As many of you guys know, our ice is unpredictable and our crews made a quick rescue of the animal, the fireman said. The sheep successfully made it off the ice with some minor injuries and returned to its owner.
Do you like to start your morning off with an iced latte with 4 pumps of vanilla, 1 pump of hazelnut from Starbucks? Just me? Well, I've got some good news for you coffee drinkers out there. Starbucks will be expanding to DoorDash this coming March and will be available in all 50 states. The coffee chain tested DoorDash in Atlanta, California, Seattle, Oregon, and New York last year, but now they've decided to expand even further. While some consumers, like myself, have cut back on delivery because of inflation and the menu prices continuing to rise, Starbucks says its customers who tend to be wealthier and have continued to buy fancy customized beverages despite the high prices want more drinks and snacks brought right to them. Honestly, I think this is a good idea for the company, and I mean, coffee has become a necessity for people.
Yeah, because you never drink coffee, right?
No, never.
Robotics is in our studio, so Robotics, let's go.
Thank you, Flo. So, guys, I'm joined here with some of the members of Farmington's very own Rogue Robotics. Could you each give your name and how long you've been a part of Rogue Robotics?
My name is Ian, and I've been on the team for 3 years now.
My name's Danilyn, and I've been on the team for 4 years.
My name's Olivia, and I've been on the team for 2 years.
My name is Kyle, and I've been on the team for 3 years.
That is awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming down. Each year you guys get assigned your very own task. Could you guys kind of briefly explain what this year's task is?
So this year's task is a lot different from last year's. We have to pick up 2 separate types of game pieces, this cone and then the cube. And our goal is to place it on poles, the cone on the poles, and the cubes in the box. And the cubes are, the poles are about 3 feet, so we have to figure out a way to extend them a long way. And then at the very end, we have to go on what they call the charge station, which is a flat platform that tilts back and forth, and you have to make sure to keep it flat to get extra points.
Sounds really cool. And then you guys had a pretty successful season last year. Would you guys maybe want to talk a little bit about some of your accomplishments?
Yeah, so our second regional last year was where we had the most excitement. We've never won a regional competition, but just going into this, we had a very good robot, and just through qualification matches, we were ranked 5th, just going very well, very much steady into playoffs. And as we went into playoffs, just kept winning. We had a few losses, but just being able to win and come up from that, we were able to eventually win the whole competition. So that was our first time we won a regional. And then because of that, we got to go to the World Championship, and we were actually one of the competitive robots there. So some teams go, they don't do so well, but we were actually a very competitive robot.
Sounds really cool. And then, as some of you guys may or may not know, Rogue Robotics has a history of community service. Could you guys speak a little bit about your guys' involvement with Go Baby Go?
Yes, Go Baby Go is a huge part of our team because we learn all these skills building robots, and we want to be able to impact our community. So we take Power Wheels toys and we convert them into wheelchairs for local kids. We rip out all the wiring, we modify it for exactly what the child needs. In our last chair that we presented to a local kid for Christmas, he uses an iPad to communicate. So we added an iPad stand in addition to all the modifications so he could drive it and it would fit him. So he'd be able to communicate while he drives and plays around.
That's really awesome. It's really cool that you guys get the opportunity to, give back to the community. And finally, just sort of to wrap up, you mentioned that you guys compete in competition. For each of you, what's your favorite part of getting to compete and, be in that atmosphere of competition for Rogue?
For me, I would say just being in the atmosphere and the excitement and feeding off of that energy, going to competitions and just meeting all these new people and feeling that energy is probably one of my most favorite things.
Probably one of my most favorite things is meeting the different teams and all the different people and seeing how they build robots and like what their strategies were for that year.
One of my favorite things is seeing all our hard work come to reality in being able to compete and learn as we go of strategies of how best to drive the robot and work with other people, but just seeing all our hard work from this season come to fruition.
Definitely working with other teams is something that's fun, but just the adrenaline rush that you get. In the quarterfinals last year, we were one match away from just getting out of it, and we had a last-second climb and just the adrenaline rush for like 5 minutes after that. I couldn't stop breathing. Like it was so exciting, and then just being able to keep competing, it's so much fun.
All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for our interview. Thank you so much for coming down to the studio, and I'm going to send it back to Flo, who has a story from a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Mandalorian Season 3 is coming March 1st. A new trailer came out this Monday. After the fall of the Galactic Empire, the Mandalorian is looking for a new mission to go on. He's going on a mission and finds a child named Grogu. In the past 2 seasons, he's looking for a home for the child. For Season 3, there's a lot of theories, but it seems like he's going to Mandalore to save his people. Mandalorian is my favorite show, and I'm so excited.
Ready to kick off your Sunday shoes and cut loose to Footloose? If I sound crazy to you, it's because I'm talking about the movie Footloose, which is a classic and you definitely should watch it. The movie is about a town that bans all dancing and music, but when a young rebel, Kevin Bacon, comes to town, he breaks all the rules. In Stockholm, Sweden, the government has finally lifted its permit on dancing, cutting the red tape when it comes to dancing and abolishing a decade-old requirement for restaurants, nightclubs, and other venues to obtain permits when they want people to shimmy and sway. Originally, owners of venues would have to pay $67 to get a permit to allow people to dance, but now they just have to register with the police, which costs nothing. It is not reasonable for the state to regulate people's dancing, says Justice Minister Gunnar Strömmer and his statement. By removing the requirement for dancing, we also reduce bureaucracy and the cost of entrepreneurs and others who organize dances. Thank you, Justice Minister Gunnar Strömmer, for being Sweden's Kevin Bacon and letting everyone cut a little loose to Footloose.
Logan, Ryder, and Kaden went around the studio and asked some of our crew a few questions. Let's take a look at that.
Alright. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be interviewing the Tiger News crew on what their favorite movie is and how many times they've watched it. What's your favorite movie and how many times have you watched it?
My favorite movie is Spider-Man No Way Home, and I've seen it about 10 or 12 times.
It's got to be probably It Chapter 2, and I've watched it around 5 times.
Midway, and I've watched it probably 3 times.
Probably Predator. I've watched it probably about like 87 times.
It's probably Grown Ups, and I've probably watched it about 100 times.
What's your favorite movie and how many times have you watched it?
Definitely London Has Fallen, and over 500 times.
That's a really difficult question. I have a lot. Recently, it's the new Avatar movie. You should go see it. And I've watched it 3 times.
Dune, I have watched it once. It's because it was so good, and I don't want to watch it again because I'm scared it's not going to be good again.
Ford versus Ferrari, and I'm not entirely sure how many times I've watched it.
What's your favorite movie and how many times have you watched it?
My favorite movie probably has to be Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, and I think I've watched it maybe close to 36 times.
36 times?
36. I like it.
I don't know about that.
It's my go-to comfort movie.
Okay. Mine's Interstellar, and I've probably watched that like 6 times, I'd say. So not 36, but 6.
My favorite movie is Up, and I can't even recall the amount of times I've watched it. It's my favorite movie since it first came out.
I would have to say my favorite movie is Jaws, and I've probably seen it something like 12 or 15 times. I love the scene. It's a rack zoom scene with the sheriff on the beach, and it was all done in the camera. Steven Spielberg was a genius, and he had the technology really wasn't there yet like we see now, so it would have to be Jaws.
Now, me personally, my favorite movie is Luca. I've watched it like 30 times, and I'd sell both of my kidneys for a sequel. Now, back to the studio.
Those are some awesome movies. I personally love movies, so this is great.
Oh no, I'm a huge moviegoer. Like, I'll get done with school and the first thing I do, throw on the TV. Movies.
Carter, how's weather?
Hello and good morning to everyone here at Farmington. It's time for Carter's Crazy Weather, so let's take a look at the forecast. All right, so on Thursday, we have a high of 30 and a low of 20. And by the way, all week, as you can see, cloudy. On Friday, we have a high of 23 and a low of 11. And on Saturday, we have a high of 25 and a low of 13, and the Tigers are playing that day. Go Tigers. And on Sunday, we have a high of 22 and a low of 15. And on Monday, we have a high of 31 and a low of 18. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the forecast for this week. But now it's time to play Carter's Farmington Feud. Yeah. All right, so the question for this show is, so I asked Farmington High School students around the school, what is the most popular month? What do you guys think is the number one answer?
February.
That is correct, it is February. February, congratulations, Flo. All right, it's now time to send it back to the desk.
See, February is just a good month.
Well, I was going to say February, but then they cut me off, so I was right.
Sure. No. Gabe, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I got more sports for you guys today, so let's get right on to that.
I love sports.
Well, we got a lot of things going on here at the school, but first, our very own Petros has made a segment on one of the greatest NBA players of all time and the amazing record he's about to break. So let's check that out.
We are about to see a perceived unbreakable record be broken in the NBA. That record is the all-time scoring record. The player LeBron James. Several years ago, many already started believing that LeBron would beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record of scoring 38,387 points within a career in the NBA by the end of LeBron's own career. Now that is becoming a reality. At 38 years old, LeBron is now only 360 points behind Kareem in the all-time scoring list. During this current 2022-2023 season, LeBron is averaging 29.7 points per game. And if he keeps this up, he will eventually break Kareem's record with a couple weeks or a month from now. Throughout his career, LeBron has accomplished many great things and has been awarded many different awards due to his impact on the game of basketball. He has been an NBA All-Star 18 times in his career, but this number will become 19 with his upcoming All-Star game in February. He is a 4-time NBA MVP, which is tied for third most ever, a 4-time champion, twice with the Miami Heat, one with the hometown Cleveland Cavaliers, and one with the Los Angeles Lakers during the middle of the pandemic. For each of those championships, he was also the team's final MVP, which makes him second in the history. He has also been awarded many other awards, but they are not as significant as these ones. However, this journey of LeBron's has not been the easiest. Early in his life, he and his mother were struggling financially. They moved from apartment to apartment as Gloria James tried to accumulate enough money for them to live comfortably. He would eventually be drafted in June of 2003. Just like any other athlete, he's going to have plenty of injuries, especially since he's played in 20 seasons. Throughout his whole career, he has had ankle injuries that have caused him to miss many games during this current season. And although I only named 3 things that have affected LeBron's life and career, there are many other things that he has had to deal with over the course of his career. LeBron has vocalized that he still has a few more seasons within him, and how he wants to play with his oldest son, Bronny, who is a senior at California Sierra Canyon High School. And while you may only know LeBron James as the flopper, LeBron James, the guy in the Sprite Cranberry commercial, the Space Jam guy, or in any other way other than his impact on the court, you cannot deny that LeBron is going to become the all-time leading scorer of the NBA, and that he is one of the greatest players of all time.
As LeBron James cradling.
Wow, that was a really good segment. I like that. Emily Reed is the Student Athlete of the Week. She is a sophomore on the Farmington ski team. Keep up the great work. The Tigers boys basketball team entered last night's game against the Rosemount Irish, riding a 5-game winning streak. Coach Johnson was concerned early in the game as the Irish were shooting well. Check out this long-distance shot from Bennett Arlinson, 3-swish. Arlinson finished with 9 points. With the Irish up by 7, Tigers would respond. Here's Tyler Beckwith. He finds Baden Bean. Who launches a 3 and is good. Baden Bean would finish with 12 points. More offense. Some great pass between Cole Wilczek and Brandon Hernser. Hernser lays up for the 2, 10 of his points on the night. Tigers kept battling. Bean skies for the rebound, drives but loses the ball. Connor Todd with aggressive steal and putback. Tigers will come back and win their 6th straight game. 57-44. All right, and then, leading scoring was Robert Conover with 20 points, Bain Bean with 12. This moves Farmington to win, This moved Farmington to win 9 games with still half of the season left to play. Tigers will travel to Prior Lake on Saturday to take on the Lakers. The girls basketball team fell to Maple Grove Crimson with a score of 75-42. Hannah Hansen was the team's leading scorer with his total points of 12. Boys hockey faced the Lakefield North Panthers on Tuesday night. The Tigers held the lead in the first period with 2 power play goals. However, 4 minutes into the second period, the Panthers tied up the game. The Tigers fell 4-3 by the end of the third. Girls hockey faces Lakeville North tonight. Be there and support them at the Schmack. Boys wrestling took on the Northfield Raiders and came with a frustrating loss of 40-37. They battle the Rosemont Irish tonight. Be there and cheer them on. That's going to wrap up Farmington Sports for this week. Make sure to tune in next week for more updates with the 2022 NFL playoffs underway. Our director Wayne Keating and grip supervisor Andy Sheehan are back for a recap of the weekend's wild card round and divisional predictions.
Welcome back, guys. Round 2 of the playoff predictions. I'm currently here with Boogie, and I'm with the greatest quarterback of all time already. That's him, Trevor Lawrence. What a game by the Jaguars. Let's just start by talking about that one. We're going to recap the games quickly. Jaguars game, how do you feel about that?
That was a heck of a win. Jaguars winning the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, bro. Hey, what happened, Chargers, man? I don't know. I don't know. And the thing is, though, Herbert, great quarterback. It's got to be coaching. What other games? Seahawks held on for a little bit. They were holding on for dear life, and then it was over for them. Any takeaways from that game?
The fourth quarter run by the 49ers is what really sealed the deal for them. The Seahawks almost pulled it off.
Yeah, and they're going to be facing off against the Cowboys, who won Monday night against the Buccaneers. That's the one game I got wrong. I went 5 for 6 on picks. Buccaneers just didn't look good. Even with the Cowboys kicker missing the 4 PAT attempts, they still lost the game. That's the one we got wrong. Let's talk about the Giants and the Vikings, Boogie.
That's the only one I got wrong.
All the Viking fans, a lot of confidence going in now.
Overconfidence.
Not feeling so good about that one. But, hey, Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, great game, great duo. They play the Eagles this week. What else did we had? We had the Bengals and the Ravens. The Ravens played a heck of a game. And if Lamar was playing, what do you think the outcome would have been?
They might have snuck out with a win. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been a different story. Let's say they never fumble on the 1 yard line, and the Bengals go and score on that one. Who knows, But hey, I'm still sticking with Joe Burrow though this week. But we'll get there. What was the other game, Boogie?
Was it the other AFC? Miami and Buffalo.
Miami played a great game. Buffalo is overrated. I've been saying it all year. Josh Allen is a turnover machine. Yet he's very good, but he turns the ball over too much, and I think that's going to hurt them when it comes to serious teams. Miami is a good team. If Tua's playing, I definitely think they won. But he wasn't, so that held them back. Play calling, too, was bad.
Yeah.
Mike McDaniels, I think if we all saw the video, you know why those play calls were not happening. Okay, so is that all the games? Did we cover them?
I think so, yeah.
We went through the Vikings, 49ers game. Yeah, we went through all of them. Okay, so new games this week. Let's just start off. Let's just talk about the NFC games first. Okay, so the number 1 seed Eagles are taking on the Giants. They've played them this year. Yeah, what was the record this year? Did they split?
Eagles swept them.
The Eagles swept. Okay, so like you talked about last week, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season. So that gives a slight edge in the department for the Giants. And I'm going to be honest, the Giants looked very good against the Vikings. The Vikings, bad defense, but you can't take away how good Daniel Jones and Saquon played. I'm going to take the hot take here. Giants win the game.
I think the Giants have a strong possibility of going into Philadelphia and winning, but I'm going to have to take the Eagles in this one.
It's tough. It's really tough. It comes down to who plays better, Jalen Hurts or Daniel Jones. Next, NFC game, and this is a great game. 49ers, Cowboys. You can start here. You start, Boogie.
The Cowboys. I'm going with the Cowboys in this one.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take 49ers. They're my favorite for the NFC. They look good. But that's the NFC East, right? Mm-hmm. They went from the worst division in football last year to having 3 teams in the divisional round. Wow. What a turnaround. All right, moving to the AFC. The Chiefs versus the Jaguars. I'm taking the Jaguars in the upset because, Trevor Lawrence played his worst game ever. 4 interceptions in the first half. Instantly turns around for 4 touchdowns. And I feel like that was his game to kind of get into the playoffs. He's obviously young. It was his first time in the playoffs, first time for a lot of those Jaguars players. So that was kind of their first trial run. And I was thinking, okay, they lose the game, whatever, they'll get in the playoffs next year. They come back, win. And now I'm thinking, okay, they're in playoff mode. They're ready to go. They're going to compete with the Chiefs. I think they beat them. What do you got, Boogie?
I'm taking the Jaguars too. Doug Peterson has won a Super Bowl already.
Yes,
He's
sir.
the good luck charm.
Let's go. Doug Peterson, man. Okay. What's the next game? Oh,
Buffalo, Cincinnati.
Buffalo, Cincinnati. This is my favorite game. Both teams played very bad in the first round. I think we can agree. They're both better than their opponents, but they both played down to their opponent's level. Now, this is the game. We talked about the DeMar Hamlin injury. Canceled the last game. Unfortunately, he's doing better now. But now we actually get to see these teams face off. When they were playing the last time, I was watching and I said, you know what? The Bengals look really good. I'm going to take the Bengals in this game.
Bengals 100%.
Let's go. Okay. Great picks. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week with the results and a look at the conference championships. So, yeah, thank you. Back to the desk.
I honestly really like sports.
When he does the segment about it, I like the sports a lot more.
Me too. Yeah, it's a lot more interesting.
It is.
On Monday afternoon, Iowa spotted its first tornado to touch down in the month of January since 1967. It was spotted near the city of Williamsburg. The only reported damage caused by the tornado were the power lines, trees being struck down, and minor damage to the cattle shelter.
What's your favorite animal? I personally love all kinds of animals, but it's hard to pick my favorite. It's even harder to pick my favorite because most species may go extinct in the years to come. According to scientists, because of the effects of overpoaching, hunting, pollution, and the mega impact humans have made, we could lose 30% or 50% of all species by 2050. But all hope is not lost. Since 1973, when the Endangered Species Act was established, they have been able to prevent the extinction of thousands of animals. According to the Center of Biological Diversity, the leading nonprofit with a simple mission of saving life on Earth, the Endangered Species Act has protected more than 1,600 species in the United States. So if your favorite animal was an African alligator, a gray wolf, bald eagle, peregrine falcon, or a humpback whale, you don't have to worry too much about them going extinct because the Endangered Species Act will continue to undo everything that we have done to keep our beloved animals safe.
We are going to throw it over to the Student Council with some winter updates.
Hi guys, I'm sitting by with a member of Student Council, and could you just give us some updates?
Hi, so my name is Nella, and I'm here to talk a little bit about teacher royalty and anything but a backpack that we have coming up this winter week. So last week the student body voted for the top 12 teachers, and there they are right there. In the next 2 weeks we'll be using donations towards the organization Pennies for Patience to do the official voting to crown our top 2 teachers. We will be using the Pennies for Patience rules, so coins are positive and cash will be negative. For example, if you put a bunch of change into that teacher's bucket and it equaled $4, but somebody put $4 bills in that bucket, the total would go to 0. We will announce the winners at the Friday Pet Fest on February 3rd, And those 2 teachers who raise the most positive money towards their amount will be pied in the face in front of everyone, which is super exciting. So during Winter Week, one of our spirit days is anything but a backpack, and we're super excited. But unfortunately, we do have to do some safety rules because it is a safety concern. So it has to be able to fit under your desk. You have to be able to carry it, and it can't be live. So you have to leave your younger siblings at home, unfortunately. So.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. Now we're going to send it over to debate news.
Farmington Debate competed at the 122nd State Debate Tournament on January 13th and 14th. The team of senior Riley Toohey and sophomore Abby Nelson brought home Farmington's first ever semifinalist trophy by having a preliminary record of 4-1, defeating teams from St. Paul Central, Roseville, Thomas Edison, and Edina. They won their quarterfinal debate against one team from Eagan, but lost in semifinals to a different team from Eagan. This is Toohey's second appearance at the state debate tournament and Nelson's first. Joining Toohey and Nelson were the sophomore team of Gavin Andrews and Clara Corsius. Andrews and Corsius cleared to quarterfinals with a preliminary record of 3-2, defeating teams from Roseville, St. Croix Prep, and St. Paul Central. They debated the section champion from Eagan in quarterfinals and lost on a decision of 3-0. This is Andrews and Corsius's first state appearance. Additionally, participating at the state tournament was alternate to both teams, Owen Chamberlain, making his second appearance at state. The Minnesota Debate Teachers Association also announced the Minnesota All-State Debate Team Awards. For policy debate, Toohey and Andrews were both named to the All-State team. This award means that they had the most consistent level of competitive success over all the invitational tournaments in the state of Minnesota among all of the varsity policy debate teams during the 2022-2023 debate season. This award is especially impressive considering that this is the second time Toohey has received this award, and Andrews has earned this award as a sophomore. The Farmington debate team will have their final scheduled debate tournament this coming Friday and Saturday when they compete for a slot to the National Speech and Debate Tournament in June at the NSDA Qualifier. This tournament will be held at Lakeville North. Please wish them luck as they finish a very successful season.
Thank you for all that debate news.
I know. I mean, the debate team has accomplished so much this year. Like, I'm really impressed.
Yeah, definitely. Now we have some announcements. For the musical Little Shop of Horrors, all dancers are called. You can audition for a dance solo in the musical. They are looking for a girl and a boy. Auditions are on Wednesday, January 25th. You can contact Miss Stout or Miss Keenberger for any questions.
The FHS mock trial team is currently 2-0 in regions so far. In case you didn't know, mock trial is the team where students participate in a mock trial court case. There are people portraying witnesses, lawyers, timekeepers, bailiffs, and are judged by either students or retired judges. Both sides of the case give pre-trial, and another lawyer gives the opening statement or introduction into the case. Then each side will present their side witness. At the end of the trial, the lawyers will present the closing statement in an effort to get the judge to pick their side. Congratulations to the team for all their efforts.
Thank you, Autumn.
You're welcome.
Our very own Will went to visit another senior TC this week. Let's take a look at that.
Hey guys, so we're back here again with episode 2 of FHS TC Cribs, and for today we have Mr. Paul's TC. All right guys, our two guys today are
Emma Nordstrom, Early Partington.
All right, let's get started. Emma, how would you best describe your TC teacher?
You know, he's something. He's so nice and so caring and fun. Sure.
All right, how would you guys best describe the atmosphere of this TC?
I would say the atmosphere in this TC is super wild and crazy and just the best TC ever.
All right, Emma, what is your favorite part of this TC?
Cohen, right here, man. He's the best part of this TC.
Cohen, do you have any words to share for the audience?
No.
Awesome. Guys, I'm joined here with Devin. And Devin, what is your favorite part of this TC?
The fact that we don't really have that much to do. We can just sit around and do nothing.
What do you like to do with all this time?
I usually just like watch YouTube or like work on some projects.
Sounds really cool. Thank you, Devin. Logan, we're hearing word that you have like a little saying around this TC. Could you tell us what that saying is?
I don't know what the saying is.
Is it either or?
I couldn't tell you what.
Very cool. Zoe, be honest with me. Do you like being in here? Is it kind of hard to work, or is it pretty quiet in here sometimes?
You know, everyone really just shows their voice in here, and they really make sure that they're heard. I feel like that's both a negative and a positive thing.
Sounds really cool.
Where's the light? Oh. Keep clapping, guys. There you go.
Mr. Paul, they had some very interesting input about your class and you as a teacher. What do you think of your TC class?
I love my TC class. They're great. They were a little, how do I say this, hard-shelled at the beginning, but once you crack that shell, boy, they just doesn't stop.
They really like to share their answers, don't they?
They certainly do.
Mr. Paul, obviously you have a senior TC. What is going to be one quality you're going to miss most about this specific TC class after we all graduate next year?
Wow. Great question. You know, always the people, the students, just the stories, right, that you build after 4 years. All great, and you're going to miss. And next year I get to start all over, which is maybe sometimes a good thing and sometimes just a terribly sad thing.
Yeah, good to hear that.
Thank you guys so much for coming to our TC.
Bye, guys. Wave.
And now we're going to send it back to the desk.
That is going to wrap up for Tiger News today. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Flo.
I'm Autumn.
I'm Gabe.
And I'm Carter.
Have a great Tiger Day.